Hello and welcome to Ballotpedia. In this video, we take a look at Arizona's history of direct democracy. Here's a fascinating fact. Arizonans have decided on 476 ballot measures since 1911. That's the year before Arizona even became a state. This democratic process began when voters adopted the initiative and referendum process in 1911. Since then, Arizona citizens have consistently used the ballot to decide on a wide range of measures. Of those 476 measures that have appeared on Arizona ballots over the past century, voters approved 251. That's about 53%, while rejecting 225 others. The source of these ballot measures tells an interesting story. The state legislature has referred 257 measures to voters, while citizen-led initiatives account for 219 measures. The data shows that legislatively referred measures have been approved 60% of the time, compared to 45% for citizen initiatives. This comprehensive data comes from Ballotpedia's extensive research as part of our Historical Ballot Measure Factbook. It's an ambitious project documenting nearly 200 years of direct democracy across the United States. This research provides a valuable resource for understanding how ballot measures have evolved, what issues have captured public attention, and the important role that they've played in our civic life. Now, let's take a closer look at the most notable topics appearing on Arizona's ballots from its earliest days to the present. Arizona's journey to statehood itself began with a ballot measure. On February 9, 1911, voters approved a state constitution. However, President William H. Taft vetoed the statehood legislation because he opposed certain provisions in that constitution. Voters then approved a revised version on December 12, 1911, and Arizona officially became a state on February 14, 1912. The first citizen-initiated constitutional amendment was particularly notable. Measures numbers 300 and 301 granted women the right to vote and hold public office in Arizona, a significant milestone in the state's democratic development. Arizona, compared to other states, has had the most ballot measures related to immigration or immigrants. This began early in the state's history with a 1914 initiative requiring employers to have at least 80% of their employees be U.S. citizens. In 1930, voters approved a measure prohibiting state and local governments from employing non-citizens for public works projects. More recent decades have seen continued attention to immigration issues. In 2004, voters approved Proposition 200, which required verification of immigration status to receive public benefits, among other changes. In 2008, voters rejected Proposition 202, which would have suspended or revoked business licenses for employers who intentionally hired people who entered the United States in violation of immigration law. Most recently, in 2024, voters approved Proposition 314, which made it a state crime for non-citizens to enter the state at locations other than points of entry, allowed local police to arrest non-citizens who cross the border unlawfully, and permits state judges to order deportations. Arizona voters have considered the death penalty 5 times through the ballot measures, with changing perspectives over the decades. In 1914, voters rejected an initiative to ban the death penalty. 2 years later, in 1916, they approved an initiative prohibiting it. However, in 1918, voters approved a measure reinstating capital punishment. In 1933, they passed a constitutional amendment designating lethal gas as the method of execution. Then, in 1992, voters approved another amendment requiring that those sentenced to death be executed by lethal injection. Arizona voters have addressed various other significant issues over the years. In 1950, voters rejected measures number 318 and 319, which was designed to prohibit segregation in public schools. The state has also considered government structure and ethics. In 1980, voters approved Proposition 100, which enacted a resign-to-run law requiring incumbents to resign from their positions to run for different salaried offices, except for during their final year of their term. Language policy has appeared on the ballot 3 times. In 1988, voters approved a ballot initiative designating English as the state's official language, though the Arizona Supreme Court overturned this measure in 1999. In 2006, voters approved a new amendment, Proposition 103, again declaring English as the official language. Additionally, in 2000, voters approved Proposition 203, which required academic instruction to be conducted in English. Tax policy has also been addressed directly by voters. In 1992, they approved Proposition 108, which required a 2/3 vote of each legislative chamber to pass legislation that increases state revenue through taxes or changes how tax revenues are distributed among local governments. Most recently, in 2024, voters approved Proposition 139, a citizen-initiated constitutional amendment providing for a state constitutional right to abortion. These examples demonstrate how Arizona's ballot measure process has allowed citizens to directly participate in shaping policy on some of the most important and complex issues facing their state throughout its history. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, we've got so much more information for you on our website at ballotpedia.org/Arizona Ballot Measures. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more nonpartisan, fact-based information on America's politics and elections.